Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I thought we would do a top 10 favorite products from 10 drugstore brands. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so I did a video like this with Sephora brands quite a while ago, and I thought it would be really fun to do a drugstore version as well. I know my channel has definitely been gearing quite high-end recently, and I'm not mad at that by any means, but I do love drugstore makeup just as much. So the first brand I wanted to mention is COVERGIRL, and for this one I decided to go with the COVERGIRL True Blend Undercover Concealer. And I love this one because it is very full coverage, it's super affordable, you've got a huge doe foot in here. This one blends out so beautifully and evenly. I love this one, and it's not at all drying under the eyes. So for that reason, this is such a favorite. I haven't reached for this one in a while simply because I've been trying out so many different ones, and I was really trying to use up a bunch of my older concealers over the past year. But right now I'm just kind of in a mood to revisit some of my all-time favorites. So I'm actually going to be leaving this one out for a little bit and just using it and loving it more because this is such a good one. It is a bit older in my collection, so I do want to get a lot more use out of it. But this is just such a great concealer. I love this one if you love a really good full coverage concealer and you are looking for that drugstore price point, this is it. The next brand I had on my list is Catrice, and if you're familiar with my channel, you know exactly where I'm going with this one. I'm going with the True Skin Hydrating Foundation. So this one is almost empty, and it breaks my heart because Catrice, when they pulled out of Ulta, they also pulled out of Canadian drugstores. So they were in Shoppers Drug Mart for us, and they pulled out of Ulta and Shoppers Drug Mart to focus on their online presence. The problem is they don't ship to Canada, so I can get their products, but I have to use a forwarding system, which is really inconvenient and is something I only use when I really need to. But I may have to in order to repurchase this because this is one of my all-time favorite foundations. The only foundation that I like a little bit more than this one is the NARS Light Reflecting. This one is so full coverage, but again, it is very hydrating. And when I use this, my skin looks so perfect, so airbrushed. You can tell you're wearing makeup, but the way it just perfects the skin, this foundation is such a holy grail. It's only like $11. It is just perfect in every way on the skin. I love how this looks so much. I just always love how my skin looks in this foundation. I can't get enough. I am so sad that it's almost empty. I did put it in my project pan last year because I wanted to use it up because it is a favorite, so I don't want to waste a single drop. It was so easy to reach for every time I did my makeup because I love it so much. So I'm so sad that I'm almost done with this one and it's not readily available to me anymore, but it is one I can see myself going out of my way to purchase because I love it so much, and I wear the shade Cool Cashmere for ease of reference. Okay, moving into MILANI, and MILANI has so many wonderful products. They do really well with complexion. Their blushes are beautiful, their bronzers. I love a lot of their lip products, but my very favorite MILANI product has to be their eyeshadow primer. So this is one that I bought on Emily Noel's recommendation, and I love it so much. Again, very affordable. A tiny bit goes a long way, so it will last you forever. But what I love about this is that it really makes the eyeshadow last so long. It's very thin. It reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay Primer Potion a little bit, except that it doesn't have a doe foot. You just squeeze out a little bit onto your finger. But in consistency, it's very similar. This comes in the shade Nude, so it is, for me, a very skin-like shade. So you're supposed to put this on, wait 30 seconds, and then go in with your eyeshadow. What I always do is I'll put this on, I'll put a powder over top, and then I'll just go with my eyeshadow. And I have oily eyelids, and I also have slightly hooded lids. So my eyes like to eat eyeshadow. They just do. So for that reason, it is really important for me personally to use an eye primer. Some people can get away without it. I cannot, and this is the best one. This is better than my MAC Paint Pot. I think this is better than the Urban Decay. especially at a fraction of the price, and I just love this one. Next up is a Physicians Formula. So again, this is a brand that also does very well with complexion. They are so famous for their butter bronzer, they're famous for their blushes. Their diamond lip plumpers are really good as well. I enjoy a lot of Physicians Formula products, especially their face palettes. But my number one favorite, like I'm sure a lot of people, is the butter bronzer. And I use the shade Light Bronzer. So this one is obviously well used and well loved. I just love this. It is so silky. I love the way it blends out on the skin. It's not at all too warm. It is a very neutral bronzer tone, so it is perfect for me. I don't like things that pull warm. I don't like things that make me orange. I do think their matte Minoi bronzers, not a favorite. Those will make you orange, but the tone of these ones is so good. Even when I've used a different shade of this bronzer, it works perfectly. And again, it just blends out on the skin. It's so silky, it looks so pretty, and it looks so flawless and airbrushed. I love the way this looks on the skin. I know why this has been a cult favorite for a long time, because it's also mine. Okay, moving in to Revlon. And for this, I have to say the Skinlights highlighter. So Revlon also does well with complexion. They have some good foundations. They have some new concealers. I know they have a new foundation, and I am planning to review it. It's just a matter of when I can get it in Canada. It's been very hard to get a hold of up here, so that's the delay on that, but I will be reviewing the Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation at some point. But as it stands, my very favorite Revlon product is the Skinlights highlighter. So this came out a few years ago, and it is such a favorite of mine. It's the one I'm wearing today. This one's in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. I just broke my lid, but I love this shade so much. The embossment in the product itself is so pretty. The way it looks on the skin is so pretty. I've got it built up today to be pretty blinding, but you can also go pretty subtle with it if you want to. Just going with a really light hand, and I think you'll really enjoy this. I've loved this one for years, and for something to remain a favorite of mine for years, that really tells me how good the product is and how much I love it. So this one is definitely the best product Revlon has ever made. They have a lot of great lip products too, but nothing is this. Nothing is as good as this. NYX. NYX is a brand I've tried quite a lot from, and I have loved a lot from over the years. They have a lot of great lip products. They have some really good complexion. I've really enjoyed their complexion products, their foundations, concealers. NYX does a really good job. I'm not the biggest fan of their eyeshadows, but they do a pretty good job with pretty much everything. But my favorite NYX product has to be their pencil liners, and my favorite shade is Nude Suede Shoes, which is a nude. So this one you can see is pretty well loved. It's getting pretty short. This is just a really beautiful nude liner. I also have one of their retractable liners, and it's not the same. This is so good. This is so long wearing. This just does such a beautiful job of lining the lips, giving the lips some definition, a little bit of structure. It's not too dry, it's not too creamy, it's not going to slip everywhere. It just looks so good, and Nude Suede Shoes is such a favorite shade of mine. Next is a brand that is kind of newer to me, but this is Oma by Sharon C. So this brand did not come to Walmart Canada until very recently, but the product that I absolutely fell in love with from the brand is the Eye Service eyeshadow quad in Dreaming. So this is what it looks like. It's just a cardboard package with a clear top, and then the package is all recyclable, so you can just take this little thing off here, and then you have your quad. I do have a couple other of their quads. I just need to try them out. But this one is so beautiful. This reminds me so much of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Dreams quad, and I actually compared them, and I like this more. One, you get way more product. This is only $10. The mattes are velvety smooth. I love them. The shimmers feel a little bit drier to the touch, but they're actually so much more sparkly than the Charlotte Tilbury. So I think if you've been eyeing up the Pillow Talk Dreams, I would pick this up instead. This is so good. This is so beautiful. It's just perfect for every single day. I love this quad so much. The formula is so good. I don't know what magic is in here that makes it so incredible, but they did such a good job with this one. This is incredibly high quality for a very affordable price point. Maybelline. This is one that was very hard because there are so many Maybelline products that I love. They have some good foundations. They have their highlighters are beautiful. They make amazing mascaras, but what I think Maybelline does exceptionally well is lip products. In particular, long-wearing lip products. So I have some of their bullet lipsticks. Those are great. I have tried out their new lip vinyls. I don't like them. I find them sticky. When it comes to their long-wearing lip formula, they know what they're doing. So I had a really hard time choosing between the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink liquid lipsticks or the Superstay Ink crayons. These are both so good. Yes, the liquid lipstick is super drying, absolutely, but it is absolutely budge proof. It's not going anywhere. It will last you all day long. But I think if I have to choose between the two, I would go with the ink crayons. And I don't know why I don't hear more people talk about these, because these are so beautiful. They're very creamy, so they can easily be used as an all-over lipstick, or you can just sharpen them and use them as a liner as well. I think this is such a great multitasking product. This one is in the shade Seek Adventure, and it's such a pretty pink. I have the matte inks in a couple shades, but this one is in the shade Lover. I think either one of these is beautiful. If you're looking for something less drying, then I would definitely go with the pencil. It is so, so, so pretty. But if you want something that's going to go on and it is not going to move all day long, even through lunch, I would go with this. So good. Moving into e.l.f. And e.l.f. is a brand that I feel like has really popped off in recent years in particular. They've been doing really well, I would say, in the past like 7 years. And very recently they've come out with a lot of products. But my favorite product from the brand is one that's been around for a really long time, and that is the Flawless Satin Foundation. I have the shade Alabaster and I love this. This one actually reminds me so much of the Catrice foundation. I like the Catrice foundation more, but this reminds me a lot of that, and that it is kind of like a soft matte, but it's so full coverage and it makes the skin look so airbrushed. But this one is only like $6. It's unbelievable how affordable this is for how good it is. And I hear absolutely nobody talk about this one anymore, and it's so good. I hear a lot of people talk about the CC Camo Foundation or the Camo Powder Foundation. The Powder Foundation is a great product. I've never tried the CC cream, but this is just the best. This is so good. I probably need to replace mine because it's pretty old at this point, but this is probably my favorite product from e.l.f. And finally, from L'Oreal. So L'Oreal is another brand that does such a great job. They have amazing lip products. They have amazing mascaras. Their new bronzer is fabulous. But my all-time favorite Maybelline product, and I have to pop up a photo because I use mine, is the Infallible Foundation. This is a classic for a reason. It's just so, so good. It's supposed to be a medium to full coverage foundation. I say it's a solid medium. It's so beautiful. It looks so good on the skin. I love that it's very hydrating, but it's also very long wearing. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful formula, and I think it still stands up today. You know, as time goes on, formulas improve and they get so good, and some of the older formulas kind of get forgotten about or need to be reformulated in order to keep up, but that is one that I think still holds its own. So I love that foundation and I kind of miss it. But that is it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. Let me know down below some of your favorite drugstore products, of course. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!